Hello, I'm just setting up my space. I am here in my new little temple in Ireland. I've got my fire lighting. I don't know if you can see that. Getting used to the different temperature here. Yeah, I just said I would come on here and share a little life update because I haven't been recording for the last while just because I've been busy moving my life and a big upheaval, moving from Prague and moving my stuff and moving my sacred temple pieces, my crystals that wanted to come with me. Yeah, I was charioting them across Europe. So I've been occupied with very earthly things. And I feel like it really matches the process that I feel like I'm in this year, which is a big grounding and embodiment process. And yeah, I just want to in this video share a little bit about what I feel is going on collectively in terms of the energy and consciousness that's playing. And, I did that in the last video, but I feel, yeah, just to anchor more into that. And then also to share a little bit about, what I'm doing next and, yeah, what I'm moving through right now. Maybe it will resonate. Maybe you will take something from it that helps you anchor deeper into what you're experiencing because whether you realize it or not, we are all connected. And this is something that I'm deeply in tune with. And I shared this in my last video, I'm sure, around unity consciousness and really birthing the next level human. And the next level of like the frequency that wants to be here on the earth, that wants to play, is really unification of the field. And it's not that we have to create it, we have to remember that that is what we are. And what I'm noticing in that is, a rise further into duality as a collective. We're being shown the war on massive scale, we're being shown division, we're being shown chaos. And there's huge chaos in the field right now. And chaos means one thing: transformation. And this is the year of the snake, so we're in big transformation. And for me, I shared in my last video, I'm sure as well, that I went through a really big transformation last year. So I feel like I've had my year of the snake. But this year, I do feel the transformation still happening in terms of collectively. And I feel very much exhausted right now from the energy waves that we're being hit with, and the level of change that's actually in the field is impacting all of us. And those that are sensitive will be feeling this on a really big scale. So if you're like extra tired right now and you're finding yourself needing sleep after sleep, I would say it's just part of the ascension symptoms that we're experiencing. It's like you're calibrating to the frequency that's raising, and there's also a lot of change happening. And in order for us to change internally, we have to allow recalibration to happen in our full system. So that means the body goes through a lot, and it also means your energy, your energetics go through a lot. It's not just physical, it starts in the energy system and then it manifests through the physical. Excuse me. So, yeah, I guess rewinding a little bit, what's been going on for me is just a realization and an anchoring into and a birthing of my next level and my gifts. And this just feels like the reward of what I allowed myself to move through last year. After I had surgery and I went through my healing phase, with everything that was going on with my physical, I really got smashed into like shadows and processing things that I didn't even know were there. And I let go of a lot. This has been the final stage of letting go of that chapter, was moving my stuff to Ireland and then allowing myself to really go full permission into the next chapter. And with that, it's just a big upheaval, upheaval on every level. And this is now like a portal that I love the most. It's the portal of infinite possibilities because it's empty. Like my field is quite empty at the moment in terms of like, it's new. This chapter is new. And I don't have a relationship that I'm in at the moment. I'm free on that level, so I'm getting back into deeper relationship with myself again. So it's like pulling all of my energy back to myself. And even on that, the relationship that I was in, we ended it on just such a loving note. And for me, that was like the sweet spot of like just how a conscious uncoupling can happen. That person will always be a part of me forever. And it's like that love is eternal. So it lives forever. And the growth is complete for both of us on that level in that relationship. So it just makes sense to move on and to go on to our next levels. And yeah, kind of recognizing that there's a lot of myth around, or we'll say like illusion around the one, who is this one person that we're supposed to be with. And most of the biggest program that we deal with in relationship is trying to find the one. And the more you get into, or the more you allow yourself permission to flow and grow through different relationships, the more you start to get into the realization that you are the one that you've been looking for all along. And it's not a corny thing, it's more that you birth more of yourself in relationship to others. And that just means that you reclaim, like you have soul contracts with different people when you come here, that you will have, you will unwind karma together, you will have intense experiences with. And through those experiences, when you have a willingness to grow, you get to reclaim part of your soul. You get to reclaim pieces of you that are in the shadows, pieces of you that were buried deep from hurt, from wounds, from karmic history, just past stories of things that have unfolded. And it's all perfectly chosen to really activate and propel you into who you came here to be. So when you look at the wider tapestry of your life, if you truly allow yourself full permission to keep realigning back to you and back to your purpose, even when your purpose is not so clear, but the clarity comes when you choose alignment. You choose what feels in alignment, what feels good in your body, what feels true for you. You keep gathering more pieces of you back as well. So you reclaim parts of yourself through the challenges that you perfectly set out for yourself to live here. So yeah, I'm in a big reclamation of pieces of my soul. I would call it a resurrection actually. And it's perfect timing because I really feel like I've had a lot of time. Like it's been almost a year since I've held group space. Pretty much a year from now actually. It's the strawberry full moon today. This is like a very special moon for me. I love this moon. Yeah, it always feels like a really expansive moon for me. But it's been a year since I've held group space, and I just feel so ready because I've been through this resurrection, or I'm in the resurrection now. I had a really big experience this morning, connecting into the group that's forming, and the purpose of this next group that I'm going to hold space for, which is my reality mastery group that begins next week. I think it's next week, the 21st on the solstice. I'm running it from the summer solstice to the winter solstice. That felt very aligned when it came in, that I'm going to work with the sun cycle, because it's really about birthing your brilliance and a resurrection of the soul. And this is something that I have been gifted through the experience that I went through last year. Life really initiates you into who you're supposed to be. It's not something that, sometimes when you go on a spiritual path, you might imagine that it might be kind of all rainbows and sunshine and gifts and awakening into your higher self. And it is that. And it does not come without contraction. Expansion does not come without contraction. And I really see the brilliance of like how we choose specific points to initiate ourselves through before we come here. So challenges, the karma and the dharma, like these equal challenges as gifts, And for me, I see the perfection of what I've chosen on that level. This initiation of becoming physically unwell because of my misalignment with the direction that I was in terms of like what I was living personally. And that's when you know that like a growth cycle is finished, when you get out of alignment or you feel out of yourself vibrationally and vibrationally in disharmony. I mean, that's what disease is. And I just really feel like these last few months has been me like cleaning the rubble and coming back into harmony, and landing back into Ireland is such a interesting experience. It's like I'm landing into an old field as a new me. And this is where I grew up. For those of you who don't know, I haven't lived here since I was maybe 18. I'm 40 now. So it's been quite a while. And I've never had the opportunity to be here long enough to truly tune into the field and to the land on the level that I'm able to now, in terms of like how my channel works and what I can see, sense, hear, feel, and experience. And it's been kind of fun to just allow myself to slowly settle and feel what the land is whispering to me, and feel the spirits that reside here, and feel who I am here. And I've noticed that my body feels a lot better here. Like it's taken me a while, and traveling with my stuff kind of took a lot out of me as well. But it's taken me a while to adapt and to land here. But I've just been sea swimming a lot in the freezing Irish Ocean, and doing saunas in the hot pod. That's like this beautiful sauna that's just on the ocean. It's amazing. And for anyone who's never swam in the Irish Ocean, or the Atlantic Sea, we'll call it, because it's the wild Atlantic. It's freezing, and I really feel like I've swam in so many oceans and so many bodies of water around the world, because I obviously travel a lot. But I don't know if it's from because I'm from here, but I really feel like the Irish Ocean has, or the Irish Sea has, a very specific healing quality. Like I just feel like it heals on a level that I don't experience with other oceans. And yeah, it could be because I'm from here. It's like a big recalibration. And it also could be the minerals. Like anyone that I bring here, like I brought my ex-partner when he helped me bring my stuff to Ireland, and he came to the sauna and to the sea, and he swims in a lot of open bodies of water too, and he really felt it. So yeah, I've just been cleansing and rebirthing, and cleansing and purifying, and cleansing and purifying. And this is something that I do regularly anyway, but I've just been really enjoying it. Like enjoying allowing my body to be nourished by the frequency of the sea here, and going on walks in nature. The nature here is speaking to me like I never imagined it would. I feel very blessed that I actually grew up here. I mean, getting to appreciate it on a much deeper level, having left and, landing back in here now. I just feel that appreciation is big. I'm noticing how unspoilt and how pure the nature is here. And yeah, just even the smells. Like when I landed home, it was sunny for like 3 weeks. And it's anyone who knows, anyone who's been in Ireland at all will know that it's never sunny for 3 weeks. It's like once in a blue moon. And should I say a blue sun? But it just felt like a real warm welcome. Like I was praying for sun as well, because my one concern about like residing here, or like moving myself here for a while, was, am I going to be able to handle the weather, because it's like so changeable. And actually, I feel like the Irish weather really supports the energy of transformation that we're experiencing right now. So it makes you very resilient and very adaptable to change. So on that level, it's good. Yeah, it's been a beautiful experience having sunshine landing here, and now it's started to get a little bit back to its usual 4 seasons in one day, basically. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. Yeah, so in terms of like, even what I've been growing into in the last, I would say 6 months plus, since I decided to move back home and leave the relationship that I was in, with full clarity of me, like now surrendering to my divine will to really bring who I'm here to bring into this world. I feel like I want to share a little story about my name, actually. This is going to sound wild to people who are not tuned into this realm of like spirituality and your higher self, and you have a team of guides and everything. But anyone who is in this realm, which is probably people who will be watching this video, you will get it. I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago now, I was in the pyramids in Bosnia, and they are like active. They like, there's questions whether they are real pyramids or not. They're definitely real pyramids, and there's a lot of beings residing there. I was there meditating on a little trip, and there to just tune in to see what was available, or to see what wanted to be remembered through me there. And I do this when I visit sacred sites. I just sit and tune in and feel what I'm opening to. And I met a new guide, in the spirit world when I opened my channel, meditating in the tunnels in the pyramid. And she was this kind of, I call her an elven time queen. I need to ask her her name, actually. I just realized it's very rude of me to not ask her name. Because she works with me now. Not as often as some of my other guides, but she's there. And I've had other, sorry, I have a hair on my lip. There we go. I have other people that are psychic confirm it to me as well that she's in my field. She showed up and showed me how to open a time portal, and showed me how to work with different dimensions. In that time, I didn't really understand it how I understand it now. And she also called me Crystal Claire, and she put all of these like golden crystals around me. And I started crying, and I just felt very graced in the like by the experience of like meeting this new guide, her showing me something that felt very relevant to what I was going through and learning at that time or interested in. Something that Tesla was also working with me in that time was also like how to collapse time, something that I will be going into and covering in my reality mastery journey. And she, yeah, this experience of meeting her and her giving me this name, I just felt very graced. It was just a beautiful experience. It was very emotional. And at the end of it, when I came out of the tunnel, I was kind of writing it all down and then laughing with my friends, saying, or feeling to myself like this is where some ungrounded spiritual person would go and change their name, right? So I had this joke around like Crystal Claire. It felt like Mystic Meg. And lo and behold, 2 years later to the date, I I have a whole other story about how I met the woman that I was sitting with for ayahuasca in Hawaii. And I did my first session with her a few years later, 2 years to the date, actually, that I had this experience. And the first session with her, she was just channeling and talking about how she changed her name 2 years to the date after she was given the name. And she didn't know that I even had this experience. And I started to calculate the date and, like, oh, wow, it was 2 years to the date. And I just started to have this kind of outer body experience of like, a lot of pieces clicking in together at once. And she started to help me understand the importance of the vibration of your name. And I did the numerology of the new, Crystal Claire instead of Claire McGrath. And it went from a 1 to an 11. So it's an upgrade, in numerology terms. And it also makes my soul name 711. And that was really like interesting to me because any of you who follow me will know that that number follows me like on a massive scale. The vibration of that number is very important to me. So yeah, I then started to go through the realization that I might need to change my name, and going through the humbling experience of like accepting that I might be one of those people that other people will judge as hippie or ungrounded or spiritual. I'm far away from being hippie. This is not a frequency that I vibe with at all. But it was important that I actually made this shift. And I'm not dropping the name Claire. It's still there. It's just the new people I introduce myself as Crystal. So, for clients and for people who will know me as Claire, you can still know me as Claire. For new people, I would like to be called Crystal. And if I have some old friends that have adapted Crystal as well. And it's interesting, I've had so many experiences since then of really understanding like what my gifts are as Crystal Claire, and this ability to truly go into somebody's crystalline DNA and restructure it and help them call their soul back home and reprogram them back to their original blueprint. And it's not a small thing that I've come here with a very specific mission to do. And it started to make a lot of sense, right? Reprogramming crystalline DNA, crystal clear, being crystal clear is one of the requirements to be able to truly see into reality. And yeah, it's been a process since then of really witnessing the unveiling or the rebirthing of myself into that version of me. And I've had it confirmed by other psychics again that I'm growing a new soul. Like this crystalline part of me is me really activating my crystalline DNA and going through the experience of allowing like that process to really happen. And I'll say this again and again and again. Sacred takes time. It takes a lot longer than we might think to actually truly anchor our consciousness here. And I feel like lifetimes, not just one life. And so when I'm in these phases of experiencing tiredness, or like this feeling of like, oh my God, how am I still tired? It's not that there's something wrong. And I say this to my clients as well. It's just really recognizing the level of change that we're actually going through. And this is not just me, this is everybody. The level of change that you allow, and it is about how much you will allow, how much you will really allow yourself to rest or recalibrate and get still enough to recalibrate yourself into your soul's blueprint. And, not everyone's here for that specific level of allowing in this lifetime, and that's okay. It's just more, how much are you allowing yourself to slow down in this time of massive speed energetically? And we are in a time of high speed with like the way AI is developing and the speed of that. It's very much overlapping the Atlantean timeline that we lived many, many years ago. And that blueprint or that imprint of that timeline is still very much in our field to calibrate to. So we're remembering the technology from then. And the thing that we're challenged with when that's happening is like, how do we slow down enough to not be too hasty to create something from immaturity, really like allowing something to really grow too quickly, to there's so much wisdom in slowing down and like really feeling the direction of something. And I do feel like we're being assisted in the slowing down. Like COVID was a slowing down so that we could recalibrate and change a lot. And we're going through, or I feel like we're being pushed through another kind of slowing down where everything is crumbling, like the empires are falling, the financial systems are crumbling. There's a lot of change happening. And there's nothing wrong with any of it. It's this change is needed so that we can transform. And it's horrific, like the level of destruction. It's like to not negate the pain. And actually the whole purpose is to really, when we rebuild, and for me, my purpose is to focus on rebuilding the consciousness and to birth unity consciousness and to rise with the memory of the pain, but to not rise in the pain body, to really rise with the memory and in honor of, and that's what in memory of means, to rise in the memory of that, and to truly not try and just forget what's happened, to really rebuild with the memory of like the pain of the poisons of the mind. So yeah, I really feel that the reverence for the human pain is something that we're all going to have to face. And I know I went through my own big initiation with pain last year, and life will initiate us. It's not all rainbows and unicorns on this path. You're going to have pain, and that pain is to awaken you. It has a very deep purpose of awakening. So if you find yourself in like a big transformation or going through something very painful right now, just know that it's a process of realignment. And if you can hold yourself in that experience or have somebody else hold you through the experience in your power, like to know that that pain serves a greater purpose than you might even imagine. And that you don't need to be in a hurry to escape it, that you be fully with it as much as you can, to be with it and to not immaturely or prematurely try and escape what you're moving through to get out of pain. It's more like, how can I fully feel all of my pain right now and alchemize as much as possible so that I can be free. And it's freeing you of the vibrational pain that we're experiencing in our consciousness that manifests through the physical as well, and it manifests through the emotional body, the pain body. And it's so important to stay with it, so in this time of big transformation, if I was to give any little nugget of input or advice or like an invitation to stay in it a little bit longer, to stay with it a little bit longer. And if that means as well you're in an incubation phase still, to stay in it a little bit longer, because the time will come where the passion pulls you forward versus the pain pushing you. And that's a very different frequency, to have passion pull you forward versus pain pushing you or you running away from pain. And I know for me, like, it's been such a big process of allowing the pain to show up and transmute and transform so that there's nothing left but purpose. There's nothing left but the vision of why I came here. And there's nothing left but vibrational harmony. And, we're very complex beings. We're not trying to get to some realized state in this timeline. That's an illusion in itself. I don't have it all figured out. Nobody does. But we are here to actually grow as much as possible and transform and transmute as much as possible in this time. If you're a light worker, you'll know exactly all about that. And one of the things that we're going through is really allowing the idea of spiritual perfection or enlightenment to die. There is no state to chase. There is only more of you to be here now. There is only more presence. There is only more joy. There is only more light. There is only more harmony to get into in the present moment. There is no future position that you will arrive at. It's more arriving into the present experience of who you are here to be. And, that sounds kind of simple, but it's just such a big thing to get still enough and to free your consciousness enough to not be trapped by the matrix of the mind, of the stories, of the beliefs, of the pain, of the recycling history, of the beliefs that we hold that don't allow us to be more present. And yeah, we'll get pushed into it. There's so many points where we beautifully set up for ourselves so that we would slow down. And we can do that more, the more in alignment you get with your soul, the more you experience more harmony and more ability to choose consciously what is in alignment versus getting slapped back into alignment through some pain or some process or some divine intervention, which is what happened to me last year. And there's no failure in that. It's like I fully needed that experience so that I could birth so many new things inside of myself. And yeah, now really feeling like I'm coming out the other side of that, really ready to serve from who I am now. And, what I experienced in the last year specifically, I'm such a different version of me now. And, even how I used to hold space, I just really feel I'm excited for what's going to happen in the group space this year specifically, because I've seen my one-on-one sessions change because I didn't stop that work completely. I started that back sooner because I love it and I had energy for it, but I've just seen how different my channel is. And yeah, I feel like I'm personally in a harvesting of the gifts of what I allowed on in terms of like a transformation level in the last year. And I just feel so much gratitude for myself for allowing that experience and to life and to my path and to everyone around me also, like my family and everyone that showed up just cheering me on or like holding me in my power and even supporting me when I was really just down. And I mean down energetically and physically. I was just down and out, but I never lost connection to what was happening on a soul level. So I really, I just really have like a deeper reverence and a humility and like a connection to the people that are in my life. Just a deeper ability to appreciate. And being home and being with my family has been just really magical. I'm with my little nieces, my sister, my brother-in-law, my dad and my mum, and they're all doing their thing, living their lives, and I'm able to now show up and just appreciate and love who they are fully and just be here and support and be who I am in this space, and also get into Ireland and do some grid work here. I say I'm going to be here for 2 months and then I'm planning on going to Canada and doing a little bit more traveling, but I'll be in and out because that's really part of my, it's part of my soul. I'm really here to grid work, so I'm supposed to travel, so can't deny it. I can't deny that calling. So yeah, I guess the rest that I have given myself permission to have, I feel like I'm really resurrecting from that right now, and it's perfect timing for me to hold space. And if you're going through a phase of rest that feels like it's never ending, especially if you're somebody that's holding space for people, I would just encourage you to allow the process fully, because there will be a time where you feel like you're rested, like you feel like you're resourced enough to go back out and serve. And you can't underestimate the length of time that that's going to take. And sometimes we wish prematurely that the transformation would happen quicker, But if you imagine the longer you allow for that transformation, the deeper and the more you're going to get from it. And it's not prematurely coming out of the cocoon. It's like nature knows when you have the energy to transform, and just really allowing that process to happen naturally. Yeah, so I'm happy to be here. I'm very excited to hold this reality mastery space. It's been a very interesting process to watch the journey or the group form, actually. I don't know if I shared this before in any video, but how I allow my groups to form is I'm not one of these people who can do the sales tactics. Like, it's just, I see the energy that drives it. Not everybody, but you know, a lot of people have this like sales force energy that comes from force, not source. So it's like sales force is getting you further away from source. So when you're in force, you can't be in source. And for me, source, alignment, being connected to me as a resource and being connected to magnetic, attractive field of like being in alignment with like who you actually are and what you're creating. This is like the feminine way to create. And I've been witnessing a lot of very magical things happening when you really believe and know that you're holding space and you're creating things, and you don't really know how it's going to form or how it's going to happen. You know what you are supposed to bring into form. For example, a journey that I did, like the journeys that I have done, like the last few years, Mystery Mastery and the Conscious Creator Journey, which is my legacy group. These have been like so divinely orchestrated because I got out of the way, and I was shown like the difference between like when I first started to do the Conscious Creator Journey, how I would try and convince certain people to, you know, that they could transform through the experience, or like not try and convince, but just more like it was for everybody. And anyone who showed up with interest, you know, I felt and believed that everyone can, this experience is for everyone. And that was kind of immature of me. But I learned many lessons from it. You know, I allowed certain people in the groups that I learned hard lessons through. And yeah, going through then like a big experience where I wasn't able to release the offer. Like the year after that was such a big experience for me to go through this, what I allowed into the container. And you'll know from some of my videos that part of my blueprint is divine guardianship. So that means that I have to be a guardian of the temple and the container that I'm holding space for. So I really have to check for resonance. And I started to then, I had this like inability to actually share the offering that I was doing, which is the same offering. It was the Conscious Creator Journey a year later. And this is a few years ago now. And then I magically watched, because I listened to the timing that it was supposed to happen, and I changed the date, the start date, to a few months later. And I also really knew and could feel like the group that was going to be in it, but I didn't know who was going to be in it. And because I didn't offer it to anybody, I kept saying I was going to send the document to people, and there was people asking me and interested in it, or interested in what I was doing, and I was telling the people who showed up about it, but I didn't offer it. And what happened, because I wasn't able to offer it, was the group formed itself. And that specific year, I really saw like how much I got out of the way of the divine orchestration. And it really showed me the power of belief and magnetism in terms of like being connected to your creation and really believing in it. And it's like believing something into existence. And it really allowed me to see the beauty of the effortlessness of that. And yeah, why I'm sharing this is because this year I didn't get to hold group space last year. I held it for a few months and then had to go through my transformation. So I had to stop. But this year I started to really understand my role as the gatekeeper, and how I am actually even supposed to get out of the way on that level and hand it over to spirit. So I'm working with specific guides to actually form the group. And I also haven't released much about it. I haven't not released the document. I've sent the document to some people, but I've been very selective about who I've shared it with. Um, and that's on a level of when I get the intuitive hit or the download of this person's supposed to have it, I send it, and I'm doing my best to be congruent or listen to that. And yeah, again, it's about getting out of the way so that the group can form itself, because I feel this year what's coming through is a different level, and it's actually not for everybody. And that's when I realized that I have to gatekeep it, because if you hold space and there is somebody in the group that the information that wants to come through is not for, the divine codes protect themselves, and what wants to be channeled through me may not come through if there's any potential of it being distorted or misused. You can't misuse sacredness, but you can misuse through ego, as in you can copy or replicate through a hollow frequency of ego. I share more about this in the actual mystery mastery, or the reality mastery, because it's a different level to understand. But yeah, I started to really see how, like, well, I really want the sacred codes to come through, and I really want the group to receive, and I want to experience that depth of like how sacred that experience can be. And I really realized that that sacredness is a smaller, it's smaller, it's a smaller container, because there's less people that are really truly here with full sincerity of serving the light. And sincerity is a really important frequency for me to tune into, the sincerity and the space that the intention comes from, and truly being sincere about serving and what you're serving, because what you serve, you deserve. And I really want to make sure that I'm serving the highest, and I'm serving the light, and I'm protecting sacredness. I'm a guardian of that. And, you know, no one person gets to protect that. There's many people that will be guardians of that. And yeah, I want to share as well that everybody has their own codes. You know, one thing in unity consciousness is that unity consciousness won't happen until we stop trying to copy and replicate other people, until we stop trying to be somebody else. Unity consciousness is really knowing that everybody has unique codes, and no one person was given all of the codes. This is something that we've learned, I feel, from the history repeating itself from the Atlantean times. It's that the reason why we're all so unique is that we have unique pieces of the puzzle. So we all have different keys, different notes, different codes to birth into this reality. And yeah, I am here to help people truly uncover what their unique keys are, and not through teaching you what I do, through helping you remember who you actually are. And yeah, I guess this is a good time to share a little bit about like what I actually do. When I hold space for people on a one-on-one level specifically, it's a very intimate experience. I look for and I see into you, I see into your field, and I feel into you, and I really search for who you actually are beneath the illusions that are presented to me and to you, and the stories that are going on inside of you, and the lived experience that you're having. I look beyond and I see through the veils of all of those things, and I see into your essence, and I find that essence. When I find it, I hold it and I show it to you, and I show it to you, and I show it to you, and I show it to you until you can see it too. And it's like this bringing forth of your brilliance, and truly being witnessed and seen and understood on a level that I just have such deep reverence for it, because it's an honor. It's such an honor to journey that deeply with people, and to help them remember their uniqueness and their sacredness, and why they came here and who they came here to be, and to help them feel more fulfilled and more free and more whole and more complete and more satisfied and more in touch with the harmony of the divine. Yeah, so that's basically what I'm up to on a synopsis level. And I do that through channeling, through interdimensional work, through very base level emotional alchemy, through story working, through mental surgery, through psychic surgery, just lots of different tools depending on the soul that shows up in front of me. So if someone's more advanced and they're much more into their soul path, and they're somehow into their gifts, as in they might be able to see or sense or feel with their psychic senses, other dimensions, we will travel high, wide, and far together. And there will be a lot unlocked in terms of gifts and codes and interdimensional pieces. And if somebody's more in the density of the emotional turmoil or trauma, and they're all linked, there isn't like one or the other, or one is more relevant. We all have to go through all of those phases, and they're very interlinked. What I often see is somebody who has a psychic gift that wants to be unlocked. There's usually an emotional blockage in the system that is linked to the gift. And I always get the message, and I see it in different ways in different people, how that gift will not be unlocked if we do not look here, if we do not do that work. It's a perfect design. We're all perfect designs. And I will then focus on that person getting in touch with that piece rather than focus on trying to open the third eye, because this is the key. The key is in the system that's already existing in your field, in all of you. The key is in the challenge of who you are. So yeah, that's a little bit about what I work on, different dimensions of reality. And yeah, sometimes it's deep emotional processes, sometimes it's big awakenings to who you are, sometimes it's just dismantling stories and inputting truth. And I really focus with like the truth of the soul. And no two souls are the same, no two souls have the same path. The biggest illusion is the idea of a way, a practice, a way to live, and then people trying to impart or impose that way on others. And this is something that we're really being asked to transform and transmute and let go of, the illusion of the guruship, the illusion of the false light, the Illuminati, I like to call it. Yeah, trying to be someone special or magical or someone better than somebody else is a big program that we have across the whole spectrum of like professions. Trying to be an authority on something without actually serving a higher purpose, serving the small self, serving greed, serving serving some shadow. While there's nothing wrong with that, everyone's just playing out their own path. And a lot of people come here to really serve, to experience like serving money, for example, or serving more material world, or living through greed. Or a lot of people come here to actually experience those things for a certain timeline, and to grow through it, to experience it, to overcome it, to realize the inner gold as well as the outer gold. There's a lot of different aspects of like why a soul might be here and what we might be up to. So it's very important to hold every being in the same equal value as every other being. There's no one being that's more valuable. And we just have so many programs around like the leaders and the priests, and definitely some people are here to be leaders, and some people are here to speak on a big level, or to direct consciousness in a certain way, or to create big change by being a leader. But doing that with responsibility and with consciousness is something that wants to come through more and more. To know that like every single person matters. Like the person who is cleaning the space is equally as important as the person who's leading the space. Every single person matters on the same level, and that's unity consciousness, the recognition of the sacredness of everybody's specific role, and people feeling realized and fulfilled and full of who they actually are, full of themselves, their true self, is something that I care deeply about. I want to see the world where everyone remembers who they are and their divine gift, or their divine gifts, or their divine remembrance of them as a divine being. So we have a lot of work to do in terms of like our evolution. We just take a look around the world and see the chaos and the turmoil, and how far we are away from greed and unity consciousness. How far we are away from unity consciousness because of things like greed, because we're so wrapped up in the material and survival and lack. So when we really truly decide to heal the lack inside of ourselves, to heal the loss, to heal the lack of love, we will change the world. I just saw it's 4444 on my video. I feel like that's a nice little, I see that as the empowered masculine. Actually, we're in the rebirth of the masculine and the feminine. It's not just the rise of the feminine. Yes, we're swaying in that direction because the pendulum swing and all of that, but we're rebirthing the male and the female energies inside of ourselves. When I say rebirthing, it's like resurrecting the soul and, you know, transmuting the shadows that have been, in terms of how the patriarchy has killed us, basically killed our spirit. And not any blame, just realizing or recognizing that that doesn't work anymore, that we need something new, that we're ready for a new consciousness, that we're ready for more heart, that we're ready to feel more connected, that we're ready to be more responsible and accountable. Yeah. So I feel like that's probably enough for today. I actually have to go. I'm minding my nieces, and I will share a little bit more about reality mastery over the next week or so before the container closes. But if anyone would like some details on that, yeah, just hit me up, send me a little message or a comment. And I'm hoping and wishing you blessings through this transformational time. We're coming into the solstice, so we should have a lot of, we already have, we're getting blasted with solar energy, but we should have a lot of energy to resurrect ourselves right now. And don't worry if your timeline's not matching that, because we all have our unique experience in terms of the waves that we catch or the waves that we don't catch. We all have our own natural cycles and timelines. And yeah, so pay attention to your own cycle, pay attention to what resonates and what doesn't, and always choose what feels empowering. So yeah, sending you blessings and love, and we'll see you soon.